What if some of the most powerful ideas shaping our modern world, the software you use, the products you buy, the buildings you admire, all trace their roots back to ancient Japan? Not as a coincidence. Not by chance. But by design. Japan is a country that has always known something the rest of the world is still catching up to, that discipline, beauty, and purpose are not opposites of innovation. They are its foundation. Today, we're counting down 10 Japanese traditions that continue to reshape how we think, build, and create in the modern world. From factory floors in Detroit to design studios in Silicon Valley, these ideas are everywhere, you just didn't know where they came from. The word Kaizen literally means change for the better. But in practice, it's one of the most quietly revolutionary concepts in business history. Born on the factory floors of post-war Japan, most famously at Toyota, Kaizen is the belief that small, continuous improvements, made every single day, will always outperform dramatic, sporadic leaps forward. There are no big breakthroughs here. Just relentless, humble, daily progress. Toyota's production system, built on Kaizen principles, turned a struggling automaker into the most efficient manufacturer on the planet. Today, Kaizen is embedded in agile software development, lean startups, and even personal productivity movements like atomic habits. The idea? You don't need to be great to start. You just need to start, and never stop improving. In the West, we obsess over perfection. Smooth edges, flawless finishes, symmetrical everything. Japan says, stop. You're missing the point. Wabi-sabi is the ancient aesthetic philosophy of finding beauty in imperfection, incompleteness, and impermanence. A cracked tea bowl repaired with gold. The texture of weathered wood. A garden where moss grows unevenly. Modern designers and product teams have quietly adopted this philosophy. Think of the intentional raw look of exposed brick in tech offices, the handmade imperfections in artisan goods that command premium prices, or Apple's evolution from cold sterile plastic toward warm, organic materials. Wabi-sabi teaches us that authenticity and character are more compelling than cold, clinical perfection. Walk into a traditional Japanese room and you'll notice what isn't there. No clutter. No excess. Just space, light, and a single element of beauty, perhaps a hanging scroll, or a single branch in a vase. Zen Buddhism's profound influence on Japanese aesthetics gave rise to a design principle the entire tech world would later adopt: simplicity is not the absence of creativity, it is its highest expression. When Steve Jobs famously declared that design is not just what it looks like, but how it works, he was echoing centuries of Japanese Zen aesthetics. Dieter Rams, the legendary German designer who directly inspired Johnny Ive and Apple's design language, listed less, but better as his first commandment. The clean interfaces of modern apps, the minimal packaging of premium products, the uncluttered layouts of the world's best websites, all of it flows downstream from Zen. There's no direct English translation for Monozukuri. The closest we can get is the art, science, and craft of making things, but even that falls short. Monozukuri is a deeply held cultural value that elevates the act of manufacturing to something almost spiritual. It means approaching every product, every object, every tool you create with total dedication, mastery, and pride. It means caring about the 1000th customer as much as the first. Japanese companies like Sony, Toyota, Canon, and Panasonic built their global reputations on this principle. Today, you see Monozukuri's echo in the maker movement, in the explosion of craft manufacturing startups, and in the designed and built with obsessive care messaging that premium brands use to justify their price tags. In an era of disposable goods, Monozukuri is the radical act of giving a damn. Ikigai is your reason for getting up in the morning. Literally translated as reason for being, it sits at the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. The people of Okinawa, Japan, home to one of the world's highest concentrations of centenarians, credit Ikigai as a central pillar of their longevity and happiness. This isn't just philosophy. It's practical. In modern innovation culture, Ikigai has become a strategic framework. Entrepreneurs use it to validate business ideas. HR leaders use it to redesign employee experience. Product managers use it to define why a product should exist at all. When companies ask what is our why, they're doing Ikigai, whether they know it or not. Here's something that sounds almost impossible. Japanese master woodworkers have been constructing elaborate furniture, cabinets, and architectural elements for centuries, completely without nails, screws, or glue. The technique is called sashimono, and it relies entirely on the precise geometry of interlocking joints. These joints are engineered with such accuracy that the wood holds itself together through tension, compression, and sheer geometric intelligence. Some joints flex deliberately to absorb earthquake shocks. Others lock tighter the more pressure is applied. Modern engineers and architects are now reverse engineering these ancient joints for contemporary use. The concept of building robust systems from simple, interlocking components with no single point of failure, no external fasteners, is directly inspiring modular product design, flat-pack furniture innovation, and architectural structures designed to survive seismic activity. Sashimono proves that the best solutions often need nothing added. They need nothing extra at all. The Japanese tea ceremony, or chado, is not about tea. It is about designing a complete human experience, every gesture, every sound, every material, every movement calibrated to create a specific emotional state in the participant. Chado is one of the world's earliest and most sophisticated exercises in what we now call UX design, user experience design. The tea master considers the guest's journey from the moment they enter the garden path to the moment they leave. The pace is deliberate. The silence is intentional. The imperfections of the handmade bowl are a message. Steve Jobs famously designed Apple's product unboxing as a ceremony, the slow lift of the lid, the reveal beneath. Theme parks, luxury hotels, and the world's best restaurants all now obsess over the orchestrated moment-by-moment emotional arc of their guests. That obsession? It has a 500-year-old Japanese ancestor. In Japan, there is a word for the kind of craftsperson who dedicates their entire life to a single skill with unwavering commitment: shokunin. It doesn't mean worker. It doesn't even quite mean artisan. It means someone who has pursued mastery so deeply that their craft has become inseparable from their identity and their moral purpose. Jiro Ono, the legendary sushi master profiled in the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi, embodies shokunin. He has made sushi for over 75 years. He still believes he has not perfected it. That is shokunin. In the modern world, shokunin is the antidote to the culture of shortcuts. It's the philosophy behind the master programmer who refactors code not because they have to, but because it isn't right yet. It's the industrial designer who iterates a handle curve 40 times not because anyone will notice, but because they will know. Precision isn't just technique, it's a form of respect. Western business culture glorifies the lone visionary, the disruptor who storms into the room, ignores everyone, and imposes their brilliant idea on the world. Japan has a different model. Nemawashi, literally meaning going around the roots, is the practice of quietly laying groundwork for a major decision by individually consulting all stakeholders before any formal meeting. By the time a proposal reaches the table, everyone has already been heard, concerns have been addressed, and consensus is virtually assured. This might sound slow. In practice, it's extraordinarily efficient because it eliminates the endless cycles of resistance, revision, and political fallout that kill innovation in most organizations. Modern agile frameworks, design sprints, and stakeholder mapping processes are all, at their core, formalized versions of Nemawashi. The best innovators don't just have great ideas. They know how to bring people with them. We end with perhaps the most beautiful tradition on this list. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken ceramics with gold, not hiding the cracks, but illuminating them. The philosophy behind it is breathtaking in its simplicity. The broken places are not flaws. They are the history of the object. They are what make it unique. They are worth highlighting. In a culture obsessed with pivoting away from failure, erasing it from your LinkedIn, and pretending it never happened, Kintsugi proposes something radical. What if your failures were your most valuable asset? What if the cracks are exactly what make you credible? The world's most compelling startup stories are Kintsugi stories. Slack was built from the ruins of a failed game studio. YouTube pivoted from a failed dating app. Twitter grew from a failed podcasting platform. The gold is always in the cracks. Kintsugi doesn't just teach us to accept failure. It teaches us to wear it beautifully. 10 traditions. 10 ideas that refuse to stay in the past. From the relentless daily discipline of Kaizen to the luminous resilience of Kintsugi, Japan has been quietly handing the world a masterclass in how to think, make, and lead for centuries. The most powerful innovations don't always come from the future. Sometimes they come from looking very, very carefully at what already works, and understanding why. If this video gave you something to think about, give it a like and share it with someone who builds things, whatever that means to them. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop in the comments which of these 10 traditions resonates most with you. I'd love to know. Until next time, keep making things that matter.